Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And before we start the video, I just wanted to give my thoughts and prayers to all the families affected by the wildfires in California. I do live in Southern California. Luckily, I'm not too close to it just yet. There is a fire, the Eaton fire, that's about 10 miles away. But we actually had a mishap of a fake warning that was sent out to everybody in LA County about a couple of days ago. And that really shook me. I was sitting at home with my daughter. And again, we're not too close to the fires, thankfully, but when we got the warning, it was like a surprise. Like, what's going on? Is there a fire near us? But it did turn out that it was an accidental warning by the LA County sent to all the LA County residents. When I got that warning, my heart really sank. I just started to worry, what do I do? Where do I go? Luckily, I do have family that lives near us, but it was just one of those wake up moments, and I can't imagine what the families are going through right now, especially the ones that had to be evacuated and may have lost their homes. So please, whatever you guys can do, I'll put some links to some shelters and any way you guys can donate to help out those families in need. I'm going to be going there on Monday to a local shelter over there to donate some food and some clothing, just because I know it is so stressful for those families. So I can't imagine it. So I wanted to make sure I start off the video with that. And again, my thoughts and prayers are to those families affected. All right, so there's no easy way transitioning from that to this, but let's go into how my last few weeks of training ended with my 10K training plan. When I left you guys off last time, I was ending my week 6. So I had week 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 week is going to be my actual 10K run. So overall, the training went really well. I think towards the end of the last 2 weeks, I really pushed my training to make sure I do stay above pace. One of the things that I have been incorporating a lot, as I mentioned last video, was zone 2 training. So the days that when I'm not doing my training runs on Runna, I'm doing zone 2. So whether it be a 2-mile run for 30 minutes or doing an easy 4-mile run, but again, going within zone 2, not going above it. I actually did buy a heart rate monitor, a chest heart rate monitor rather, from Amazon, just to make sure my heart rate is accurate. And I just don't depend on, I have heard mixed feelings and mixed reviews around heart rate monitors on wrist. So I figured I'd get an actual one, and that's what I've been tracking for my zone 2. When I'm doing my training runs, I don't usually wear the heart rate monitor because it is uncomfortable for me to wear. But for my zone 2, I do try to just put it on just because I just want to make sure that readings are accurate and that I am making sure that I stay within my correct zones. So that's been really helpful for me, and that's what I've been supplementing a lot of my runs with as well. All right, so for week 7, I had a 1 kilometer repeats, a 3.5 mile easy run, and a 6-mile long run on my Runna training plan. 1 kilometer repeats went really, really well. I actually stayed above the pace that I needed to be at, just because, again, I wanted to see where my fitness was and whether or not I could really push it to the pace that it's recommending me at. So it felt great. I did not feel like I needed to step back at all. It was a really good overall week for me, and especially this run. Again, I think it wanted me to go at an 11:30. I think I ended up going around 11:20 pace. 3.5 mile, and the one easy run I did at home was great. Again, staying within zone 2, nothing crazy. Actually, the 3.5 miles, I did push a little bit towards the end, which is why my heart rate did spike up a little bit. But besides that, I was trying to stay within the zone as much as I can. And then at home, I just stayed perfectly well at my 3.1 mile overall and a heart rate of 135 again. Zone 2, nothing crazy here. And then finally, at that point, I had a 6-mile long run, which is the longest I've ever done in my life. And that was supremely fun. My heart rate was a little high because, again, I have never ran that much mileage in my life before. I did do a 5-mile before, a couple weeks before that, but I had never done a 6-mile. I really wanted to push the pace. I was around a 13-minute mile pace overall. My heart rate was a little high towards the end, 169. But it felt great, and I was so happy I could actually do a 6-mile run. That was the best part for me. That was a highlight of that week for me, honestly. And then week 8 is when I really stepped up my zone 2 trainings. So I had a 3.5 mile easy run, a rolling 400 interval training, and then a 7.5 mile long run. And the rest of the days I just did the zone 2 training at home. So I won't go into those as well. But the rolling 400 was, again, a lot of fun. My average pace was 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And again, it's just because I wanted to really push the pace, really test myself to see if I can actually hold a faster pace. And this was pretty much going to be where I would be doing a quarter mile at 11:35 per mile, and then going to a quarter mile at 12:40 per mile, and back and forth, back and forth. times 4, and again, felt great. Towards the end, I really just wanted to push the pace, so I didn't even do the 12 and a half mile, 12 and 30-minute mile pace. I ended up just doing 11 and a half just to kind of see if I can really push it to that level. So was amazing. Again, just really trying to push the pace as much as I can. Lastly, I had a 7.5 mile block run. Again, this was now the longest run I've ever done, and still is the longest run I've ever done in my life year to date. Felt great. I was going the same pace I had gone the previous 6 mile run. I was around 13 minutes per mile. My heart rate was around 166 again. I think I felt great for most of it until the very last mile. I really saw myself kind of drop off. My knees were starting to buckle up a little bit. I was kind of getting out of breath a little bit as well. But again, I just felt so great after I was done. And pretty much after that, my entire weekend was just me laying around because I was so tired from that 7.5 mile. But again, I was so happy that I could actually do that long of a run. And again, part of the 10K training is that, hey, if you can run a 7.5 miles nonstop, you can do the 6.2 or whatever it is for the 10K easily. So that was kind of my justification for pushing it. And once I got done, I didn't have to take any breaks. I did take my first gel ever, which was interesting. All right, try my first ever gel. Interesting. And in week 9, I had a 800 meter to 400 meter runs, which essentially was half a mile at 11:05 pace, and then with 60 seconds of rest, and then that was 2 reps of that, and then I would do 4 reps of a quarter mile at 10:30 pace. Again, just really pushing the pace as much as I can. As usual, I did end up going a lot faster than I needed to, but this is because I really want to test myself. I don't know why I truly do enjoy interval runs now. I think I just enjoy going fast and seeing what I can put my body to go towards, and that's where I really pushed it, and it was so much fun to do. Don't get me wrong, I do love my long runs, I do love my easy runs, but something about interval runs and just running fast and just it kind of brings me joy. As far as this is why I love my training plan, is because I can see myself going faster and faster and hold paces that I never thought I could really hold in my life. So that was a lot of fun. I had another easy 3.5 mile run on the plan, and then a 5.5 mile long run. I think this was just because I'm trying to taper for my week 10 run overall, and I knocked that one out of the park. And then I had 2 other runs that were just going to be easy pace at home, zone 2. And that was the end of week 9. And lastly, week 10, it was the week of New Year's Day or New Year's week. And it did not mean to happen in this way, but just still did. And it was an amazing week overall. My toughest run that week was the taper 400s. This is just me going at a quarter mile at 11:30 or 11:25. My target goal pace for my 10K run, according to my run plan, is 11:30. So I was just trying to see if I can hold the pace at 11:25. I ended up doing a lot more runs than I needed to, just because I just felt great. I didn't want to really lose my fitness. I didn't really truly taper, and I think this was the reason why I didn't think I did too well on my time run, but I'll go into that in a little bit as well. And then, so that brings us into the 10K time trial. So in my run-up plan, I had planned my 10K race to be at this time. When I had initially set up the plan, I did not actually have a 10K set up at all. So 10K time trial, I ended up finishing that at 1 hour and 13 minutes overall, which was right within a range what Runna had expected me to run at. So it had predicted I run between 110 to 114, so I fell right between that. My average pace was 11:45. I did struggle a lot in this race. I'll be truly transparent with you guys on this one. The reason is because I felt I was really dehydrated, and I also did not have the best meals going into this run. As I mentioned before, I did do a lot more runs this week than I needed to. I think I didn't really truly embrace the tapering process, so I went into it a little bit tired. The night before, I was actually at a friend's house and they were having a party, so I had a couple of glasses of wine, no hard stuff, and then just a lot of carbs and a lot of not so healthy food, a lot of fats and stuff like that. So in the morning when I woke up, I just felt kind of bloated, didn't really feel right, and so that's why I just didn't really feel 100%. I'm not making an excuse for myself. This is more self-reflective of what I need to do next time. So when I actually do my 10K, I have to be really cognizant of what I'm eating, what I'm ingesting the day before, because I really felt the difference. And the reason I say that is because I felt great starting the run off. And midway through, I just completely fell apart where I was walking a lot. I was pushing the pace. I couldn't hold the pace that I wanted to. And it's not like I couldn't hold the pace in the past. I could hold that pace for a very long time, which 11:30. But I just felt like I was walking way too much. And I really felt my stomach start to churn a little bit. Even taking the gel at the time didn't quite feel right. I had taken a couple of gels before that, and they always felt great. So I think it was mainly because I just didn't eat the right food. I didn't really practice the tapering. I didn't rest as much as I needed to. And I think that's what really caused me to not have the best 10K. And so when my actual 10K comes around, I'm going to be really hyper focused on what I do outside of running. Really listen to my body, slow down, take a rest, maybe not even do easy runs the day before, eat some really nutritious food, drink a lot of water, get my electrolytes in. I didn't do any of that going into this, and I really felt myself my legs give out towards the end for the 10K. So I lesson learned, again, not making excuses for myself, but this is just as a diary, self-reflective. This is what I did wrong and I need to do better next time. But not everything was bad news that day. I did set my PB for a 5K that day, and which is crazy to me. I did a 5K in 36 minutes. If you guys remember my actual 5K when I did my 5K race, it was on 37 something. So even just being able to do a 5K PB in my 10K was amazing to me. Last thing I wanted to go over before we end this video was my marathon planning. So I ended up opting out of doing a half marathon training plan and just doing a longer full marathon training plan instead. The rationale behind this is because if I can give myself enough time to do and prepare for the full marathon, I wouldn't have to necessarily rush if I had just done a half and then a full. My half marathon is going to be in May of this year, first weekend of May. And if I did the half marathon training until then, that would give me about 4 months to get prepared for it. Then it will only give me 3 months after that to prepare for a full marathon, and that's double the distance, 13.1 miles to 26.2. That's a lot for me. I think I would probably injure myself. I would probably burn out if I did try to do a full 12-week program for a full marathon. So I figured, you know what, let's just do a full marathon planning instead. And then along the way, I'll just do my half marathon. And I think that's probably my best bet, because the half marathon falls right within that middle territory of my training plan. So excited for that. Looking through my training plans, I have like an 11-mile run, 12, 18-mile runs. Not sure how I'm going to be able to do all that, but again, staying with the process, sticking with it, I think that's going to be my biggest thing. And I think trusting the process has really helped me. I also saw the run I had predicted my 5K to be, my 10K, all that stuff, and it says my 5K should be below 25 minutes at the end of the plan. My 10K should be below an hour, which would be amazing. When I saw that I can do my 5K below half an hour, that was a lifetime achievement for me, honestly. I don't ever think I imagined myself getting below 30 minutes, and that's what this plan is saying. So keeping it safe, keeping it hopefully injury-free. With the 25-week marathon plan, I did give myself a 2-week leeway. So 1 week I do plan on, after I do my half marathon, I plan on just resting the whole week, give my body enough time to rest and recover, and then go back to a training plan. Because when I did my 10K time trial, I noticed I did get really tired the next couple of days, and I just figured, why not just give myself the week off, and then I have another week of cushion just in case, again, hopefully not, but if I get sick or whatever, I can skip the week, rest, and then come back to my training plan. So I gave myself a 2-week buffer. I still have not yet decided on my shoes. Based on what I'm seeing, based on what I'm researching, a lot of people are saying that for your first marathon, you should just run in the shoes that you feel most comfortable. So anything I do will be a PB for me, obviously. So I figured, why not just run in my good old Super Blast 2s for that. I feel good when I run in it. It feels cushioned. It feels soft for me. It's a little, it's firm on the ride, but it's soft enough where I can be comfortable for the whole time. From a half marathon, I'll probably just run those in my SC Trainer V2s. I don't think I need necessarily a race day shoe yet. I do plan on running a second marathon later in October, which is going to be the Long Beach Marathon, which is local to me here. And for that, I may consider an actual race day shoe. But for my first one, I just want to be comfortable. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy the moment. And I think I'll just enjoy it with a shoe that I feel most comfortable instead of trying to get a new shoe and figuring it out on the day of. So that's my plan for shoes wise for my full marathon as well. There you guys have it. That is my marathon training plan going forward. 25 weeks. Cannot wait. I will keep you guys updated on a weekly basis again. You guys can expect another video from me by end of this week. Seeing a lot of information out there, seeing a lot of new shoes, a lot of interesting articles around running and pacing, all that kind of stuff that I would love to discuss with you guys. This community is growing. A lot of you guys are following my journey, and especially those of you who have done marathons, please continue to give me advice and give me feedback. I really do appreciate it. I read all the comments, and I just take everything in as I can. And I love seeing you guys, some of your stories, because a lot of you guys started off where I did, at a slower rate and, you know, a little bit later in life, like myself. And you guys are just truly enjoying it. And I just cannot wait to get to that moment. So thank you guys again. Thank you to all the new people, all the new subscribers. And I will see you guys next week. All right, bye guys.